Hey guys, it's Marissa, kitchentablestamper.com. So this is what we're gonna make today. And you guys wanted to know what else fits in this box. So this is mini moon pies. I find these at the Dollar Tree. They're smaller than your usual one. There's 6 little minis in the box for $1. So it's a really good treat. And I loved the idea of using moon pies with my Halloween box, because I could decorate them. So they have chocolate and vanilla at my Dollar Tree. And look at it. So I went ahead and decorated my little moon pies. And 2 fit in the bakery box. So there's our ghoulish goodies to a frightfully good friend. Those are the little vanilla ones, little chocolate ones. You got a choice. And 6 for $1, pretty good price. Here's our little project. If you played Coffee and a Mystery card with us yesterday, this was our Coffee and a Mystery card. We did You're a Friend Like Gnome Other. And then to a frightfully good friend, it's a little pocket. You can do a gift card in there. Or something fun, you can do a little packet of dimensionals. So if you've got a frightfully good stamping buddy, this little pocket is perfect for a sheet of little black dimensionals. Isn't that great? All right, so the tutorial for this one is the top post on the blog right now, if you like that. And you can see our fun little Halloween gnomes. I'm using Stampin' Up! Gnome for the Holidays stamp set. And you can see this little guy. We turned the snowflakes on his hat to stars, and the bell, I put a little spider instead and colored him up. So this Gnome for the Holidays is really great set to do some even more classic or other holiday gnomes. This is the little guy. He's got a little ornament and mistletoe, but we're going to replace with a spider and a jack-o'-lantern. So that's our project. And I think we're good to get started. But when I do a project sheet for you, I always make a template and take a picture of it so that you can see how to cut away. So we're gonna start today with 8.5 by 9 inches of basic black cardstock for our box. And then we're gonna score that in the Simply Score tool. We're gonna score on the 9-inch side first. Let's make sure I got the 9-inch side. Nope. How about we get the 9-inch side? There we go. 9-inch side. We're gonna score at 1 3/4, at 4 1/4, 6, and 8.5. Then we'll rotate 1 time to the right, and we're gonna score on the 8.5-inch sides at 3/4, 2.5, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other 8.5-inch side. 3/4 and 2.5. All right, so then let's work these score lines. All right, now we're going to trim away according to the template. Picture will be on the project sheet. Got some scissors here. All right, so this little 1/2 inch here is our tuck tab. So let's put that to the top. And we're going to start cutting there by taking out the 4 sections in the right corner and the left corner. So you've got a square, a long rectangle, a big fat rectangle, and a skinny little rectangle. We're going to take both of those out. And what I'm going to do is just kind of cut right down the line here and get rid of these. Now this is the lid for our box with its little tuck tab right underneath my left thumb. And then next is these tabs. So we can go ahead and cut down 2 rectangles. So we're going to cut to the second score line and cut out a little dart. I cut out this score line, this paper that's been folded. I just cut that right out. And then same thing on the other side. And now we've got the side flap for our box. Now this is going to fold up and in and create the side wall of our box. So let's go ahead and cut off this short part of the tab here. Just like our template. The sides of our box here. Let's go ahead and do the same thing with these bottom tabs. Cut out the score line on the next score from the edge, 2 score lines. Do the same thing here. And all I'm doing here is just debulking the score line. But then when I'm done, I'm going to taper the tabs just a little bit. So we're going to get rid of these 2 little rectangles. And then I like to take these, the tabs that are going to fold in on our box, and I like to taper these just a little bit. Not too fancy, just a small little angle cut from the edge to that first score line. And then for a nice clean tab, I like to round these top corners. So I'm gonna grab a little corner rounder and do that. Okay, so it's kind of a nice big box. I'm gonna just round those corners. All right, before we go further, I wanna grab a grid paper, and we're gonna do a little thumb notch. So I got a 1/2 inch circle punch here. We're gonna mark center on this panel. So here's our tuck tab. We're going all the way across to the front of the box. And we're gonna get a little grid paper, use our centering ruler, because I am no good without it. I've learned. We're gonna bring our tabs in on our box on center. So what we're looking for here is 1 3/4 on each end. Means that 0 is center. And we can just mark that. That'll help us punch our thumb notch. I'm gonna do that with a 1/2 inch circle punch. And we'll go about halfway into the punch and center that line. That helps me immensely. I need tear and tape adhesive. So here's our box. It's going to fold in on the side walls and come up. And then it'll fold up and make those finishing tabs. So we want tear and tape adhesive on all 4 of these square tabs here. All right, so we're gonna take these guys and fold them in. And then we're gonna fold up the side, nice square corners, and burnish. And there's our little bakery box. It's a cutie, isn't it? All right, there. All right, let me slide to the side for a minute here, and we're gonna do, I want to die cut some more bats. I've already got a few cut here, but we're gonna use, I don't know,
everything you told me
5 of
in the
them.
kitchen.
So let me grab some glitter paper here. All right, so there's our little glitter bats. They cut like butter. Aren't they cute? That's the Halloween magic. And then I've got my little jack-o'-lanterns next. Let's die cut those. I'm gonna grab my trio of tags dies and get those little jack-o'-lanterns. They're so cute. I like the snowflakes and the hearts in this die set too. Got a scrap of pumpkin pie. I'm gonna cut a couple of jack-o'-lanterns. These little cuties are the best. They're such a great little embellishment. I love tiny little things. Look at this guy. Isn't he adorable? I'll set those aside with our bats. All right, these guys are out of the way. I did a little bit more die cutting ahead of time for you. Let me show you. I've got 3 2-inch circles. These I punched using the 2-inch circle punch. This is crushed curry and whisper white. I've got die cut from Highland Heather, 2 1/4 inch scallop circle. And I got that from my layering circles dies. And then last, got this 2 9/16 inch swoopy square. And I cut that one using my Hippo and Friends dies. So I did those ahead of time. I wanted to show you how I did my little crescent moon here. So I've got a scrap of crushed curry cardstock and a 1.5 inch circle punch. So this is a really fun one for Halloween. Set that aside. There's a little 1.5 inch full moon, but to get the crescent moon, you're going to slide over to the side and punch again. And there's our little crescent moon. We're collecting our pieces here, aren't we? Now, I'm going to backtrack here to my little jack-o'-lantern. He needs his face blacked out, so I'm going to grab that same 1/2 inch circle punch. It's going to be too big for behind him, so I'm just going to take about 3/4 of it and then round the corners off so that it doesn't stick out from behind my jack-o'-lantern. We've got an ugly kind of bean-shaped piece here, but that is the perfect little piece we can stick to the back of the jack-o'-lantern and black out his face. So a little multi-purpose liquid glue on his nose here. We're good. So I'll give him a little liquid glue mustache and then drop him right on that scrap. And now he's got a little blackout face. All right. I think we're going to put some of these layers together. This will help me. I've got my Whisper White, and I'm going to glue that Whisper White circle to the scallop circle. And we'll center that on the Highland Heather. And then we'll center those on the basic black swoopy square. There's those guys. Now, I'm going to grab my archival black Stampin' Spot. I hold on to these whenever they come in Paper Pumpkin because they give a really good dark black finish. And I'm going to use Ghoulish Goodies and To a Frightfully Good Friend. Those are from the Ghoulish Goodies stamp set. I'm loving this one too. And it's really helping me turn my little holiday gnomes into Halloween gnomes. All right, let's go ahead and stamp those greetings on these 2-inch circles. And do them to a little bit lower on the moons because we're going to embellish with some bats, little glitter bats. And then To a Frightfully Good Friend. And I love how it says then, when you take them out of the box, it says Ghoulish Goodies, To a Frightfully Good Friend when you take each of the, in case you're joining us late, let me show you. So here's our little moon pies, Ghoulish Goodies, To a Frightfully Good Friend. All right, drop those guys in. Then it has 6 special friends receiving this box for door delivery Halloween treats. All right, let's get our bats on, and we're gonna put these on our treats, get our treats in the box. It'll clean up some of my mess around here. So I did one of my little moons with kind of a bigger bat. So I'll get that guy on, Ghoulish Goodies. And then A Frightfully Good Friend is gonna get 2, so we'll use a little bit smaller bats. There's 3 sizes here, believe it or not. They're all kind of small, but such a cutie. Slide up. There it is. Now, where are I lost my moon pies in the mess. All right, here's my little moon pies. We're definitely getting less pieces here. That's a good thing. Grab some Stampin' Seal Plus. I like this dry, strong adhesive. It's perfect for this. We're gonna put a couple of strips on the back of our moons and pop them right on the moon pies. Now, I will suggest that you use the Stampin' Seal because if you add these on with like dimensional adhesive, they're not going to fit 2 stacked in your bakery box. So keep that in mind. But you could add them on with dimensionals if you were doing something else. All right, there's our little decorated moon pies. I got my moon pies at the Dollar Tree. They're 6 for $1. And you can get them chocolate or you can get vanilla. And just pop those guys right in there in a stack. Let's decorate the top of the box. This is Purple Posy card or designer series paper. It's from the 2019-2021 6x6 designer series paper pack, and it's 2 1/4 by 3 3/8, which will give us a nice little black frame around the front. I'm going to use the other side on this one just for fun. I'm just going to adhere with some multi-purpose liquid glue. Then we can take all of our layers and we can adhere that with some multi-purpose liquid glue. I'm not going all the way to the edge because what happens is when you add this little swoopy square, it's just a little bit wider than the box. So I actually let it hang off the front just a little bit. It actually gives you a place to pick up the lid, and it's just barely, the little stitches are off the edges there. So it actually makes it a little bit easier to open the box. So don't take your glue all the way to the very end. All right, we're getting there. All right, we got to do some stamping. Let me slide these guys to the side. We need a scrap of Purple Posy, nice skinny 1/2-inch strip, and a scrap of Whisper White. I'm going to do my greeting, "You're a friend like Gnome Other," using the basic black archival Stampin' Spot. And we'll stamp on the Purple Posy. Then we're going to cut it out like ransom note style. I always forget about that. I love the way the little like ransom note looks when you cut out the words, but I always forget to do it. There, see how much nicer that one's stamped? Sometimes you just got to stamp it twice or practice. All right. Cut this guy off real close to your, and real close to other. And then I'll trim it down slimmer. And here's where you just got to own it. Just cut it out. It's ransom note style. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then we'll cut between friend and like. Get our 2 little pieces. There's our greeting. Now our gnome, he's going to be fun because we're going to take him from Christmas to Halloween. Are you ready? I'm going to switch my ink pad out. So I've gone from archival to the Tuxedo Black Memento because we're going to color with Stampin' Blends. And I've got some little sticky notes here. Here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to bring our grid paper back in for just a minute here because we're going to build a little mask. We want to turn his ornaments into a jack-o'-lantern. So to help us mask it, we're going to ink up his little ornament. We're going to stamp it on the sticky part of our Post-it or of our sticky note. We're going to clean him off so that we can get a good clean image without the ornament. Now, using this sticky note, we're going to create a mask. And then we'll pop it with the sticky right over the one on the stamp. We need another little piece of the sticky here for the mistletoe because we don't want mistletoe on our Halloween hat. We're just going to cover that guy up too. And make sure it doesn't cover the lines of his hat. So we've masked him all off. He is now just a gnome, not a Christmas gnome. Let's stamp this guy. So with the little sticky notes covering what we don't want to stamp, we're going to go ahead and ink him up. We want to make sure that we get the edge of his robe there and his hand. We want to get the little string hanging from the top of the hat. But now we can take away our sticky notes. Make sure you don't have inky fingers. No sense in ruining it after we de-Christmased him. And we'll stamp him. And it doesn't have to be perfect masking because we're cutting out. You'd want to be really careful if you were stamping him on a project, but we're going to fussy cut him. So we got a little shadow of the jack-o'-lantern, but it's not a big deal for us here. Now we've de-Christmased him. Let's make him Halloween. I got my little spider on the string. He's also from the Ghoulish Goodies stamp set. I've got another little sticky note here. We're going to go ahead and cover the hat, ink up the spider, and we're going to stamp the spider hanging from the hat. Now, if you get the little lines lined up, then you're pretty amazing. Oh, look, I lined up the lines. Usually I miss, and that's why I have a little Stampin' Right marker. And where the little string from the hat meets the little string on the spider, I've been just drawing in a little bow. So it looks like our spider is tied to the hat, and that will cover up any little gap between the two. So you don't have to, again, stamp it perfectly. So now we've got a little Halloween gnome. Isn't he cute? He's almost ready for trick-or-treating. Hold on, there we go. Stuck to my finger. He's almost ready for trick-or-treating. We need to color him in. So I've got pumpkin pie, Highland heather, smoky slate, ivory, basic black, and a color lifter for this little guy. And let's color him in. Okay. So we're gonna really bring home this Halloween gnome idea by using some great Halloween colors for his hat. We'll do every third stripe with pumpkin pie. 1, 2, 3. I hope I'm coloring the right stripes. And to give it a little more definition, I'll just line either side with the dark one and then bring them together with the light one, just little circles. Oh, you know what? While I've got it, I'm gonna do a little stripe in his socks too. If you're doing a few of these, doing them all the same, you do all their little orange stripes and do all the little purple stripes, all the little black stripes. If you color in batches, it goes a little faster. Toes of his socks, we're gonna do those purple. You love that this little gnome is in socks, striped socks too, of all things. And for his clothes, I'm gonna use the dark smoky slate and the basic black. So we'll do the stripes in his hat first with the dark smoky slate. And then we'll add a little shadow with the black. I think that black looks more black if you color it gray. If you color black black, you get just kind of black out and it doesn't look right. There's no dimension to it. So if you start with the dark smoky slate and then work the basic black into it, you get some shape, some dimension. And then we're going to give him a white beard. And again, white looks more white if you color it with some gray or blue. White. Robe just a little bit more with the black because I do want him to look like he's wearing black, not gray. So a little more of the dark. Blend in a little bit more of the light. All right. Couple more touches here. We're going to just shadow his beard a little bit underneath his mustache, and then down some of the lines that the artist drew in, and then along the very bottom edge and right and left sides, bottom side of the mustache. And then we'll take a color lifter and just really push that gray back from the center. Got little ivory hands, and his nose, and his one eye. There he is. I'm going to trim him out. Got my paper snips, and I'm going to cut just along the edge. I'm going to put him on with dimensionals, so I'm not cutting off the little hook, but I am cutting off all the where the little ornament was. There's my cutie little gnome. Isn't he fun? Oh my goodness. He just makes me grin. Let's get our box back in here, and I need some black Stampin' Dimensionals. 'Tis the season. I like mini dimensionals because we've got this really thick edge right here. So we're going to take a skinny little piece, maybe about, I don't know, 1/2 inch. And we're going to put that behind our spider. See how nice that little edge works for that? Snip off a few pieces for behind our gnome fussy cut. All right, let's get our guy on the box. Can you believe how cute? It's really coming together. Oh, his heel's sharp. We can't have any of that. It really shows against the little black behind him. Yeah, pretty good. He's almost in the same place as our other guy. All right, got a little mini dimensional right here for the back of the jack-o'-lantern. Can you believe that he was even Christmas at all to start with? I just love it. All right, for my sentiment and my moon, I want a few pieces of dimensional. Pop our little moon on dimensionals. And then I got 2 skinny strips here. And I'm gonna put 1 strip underneath friend, because your is gonna go over the moon a little bit. So it's gonna be held up by the moon. And then on this side, we're gonna put a little strip under other, because like gnome is gonna go over the moon. Oh, it's over his mustache. We can't have that. Slide over. There we go. Your friend like gnome other. And now back to our little bats. We cut a few extra. So I'm gonna take this very little dude, pop him on with some glue. All right, then our little bit kind of medium size or a bigger bat. Let's get that guy on the moon. And we didn't do anything with the your end of the friend, so we could tuck our little bat in there. Your friend like no mother. Isn't that cute? Oh my goodness, I love this gnome. There's our little bakery box. Here's our original bakery box. And then here is our Halloween gnome gift card holder, or in this case, dimensionals. There it is. If you've got any questions about the project, you can email marisa@kitchentablestamper.com. And to pick up Gnome for the holidays, you can shop Stampin' Up 24/7, marisaAlvarez.stampinup.net. You guys have a great weekend. Thank you. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.